I finally stopped running now. With you, I found my...
Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we are going to be doing an Idol Insider video, the first Idol Insider of 2020, and I actually thought a lot about what I want the topic to be. Usually I go on my Insta story and then I usually take in questions and then I answer your guys' questions, but for today's Idol Insider I thought that I'll do something a little bit different and talk about my experience on variety shows. I'm going to be talking about my favorite variety show that I was on and the variety show that I absolutely hated that I was on. And yeah, I thought that it would be really fun because I know that you guys do enjoy these type of videos too. Also, I do plan on making like a part 2 for just a segment on variety shows. So if you guys do have any questions on variety shows, please leave it on the comment down below. I will make like a pin comment, and you guys could put all your comments there or just comments, and then I will make another video on variety shows for you guys, so don't worry. But yes, today we are going to be kind of talking about, a little bit of tea and stuff, so I'm really excited. I am so excited to make more Idol Insider videos for this year, so let's get with it. Before we go on with the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get with the video. So, I think that the first thing that we can talk about is the variety show that I absolutely hated. No, actually, let's talk about all the variety shows that I've been on. I'm going to try to remember it from the top of my head. So the first variety show that I was on was, I think the first ever was Star King. And that was a really cool experience, only because I feel like when I was on Star King, I saw like Kwang Yi and I saw like Kang Ho-dong, and it was just really interesting to me because all the people that I saw on TV, like Kang Ho-dong, like he's like national like MC, so for me it was like, wow, like this is like a variety show and this is like what happens behind the scenes, and I think that it was like really nerve-wracking for me. But okay, that was the first one. So Star King was the first one, and then I think the second one was a thing called Fashion Wang or something. Like it was with like a bunch of like idols who were like on the sides, and then we were like watching like a fashion show, and then like we vote for like best outfits or something. Third one was Dream Team, and I actually went on Dream Team 3 times. Both, I think I went twice by myself and then once with my members, if I am correct, or I might have gone on all 3 by myself. But yes, I'm going to talk about that. And then I was also on Yaman TV, which was also very fun as well. And I think, oh yeah, and I was also on Idol Star Olympics. And I think as of now, that's all I can remember. If I do remember any more on the top of my head, I will leave it on the comment, or I will leave another variety show that I did here. While I was ending this video, there was another variety show that came to mind, so I'm going to be adding that in wherever I have to during the video. But another variety show that I remember that I was on was actually a show on Arirang TV, and it was called Tour vs Tour, and I would basically take people around on a tour, either that's like Seoul, Busan, or like wherever around in Korea, and I would literally take them around to like a lot of like hot spots and stuff, and there'll be another person who is Benji who would be taking them on another tour too on a different city, and then it'll be kind of like a competition where we come back into the studio and then see where each other's groups went, and then kind of like seeing from there who had the best course or who had the best itinerary, who had the best food, what experience was more fun. And that was really a fun experience too, only because we got to talk. Sorry, my mom's making like food outside. That was like the rice cooker. Anyways, but we actually talked in English, which was very new to me and very fun. At first, I thought that it was going to be a lot easier since my native language is English and I am more comfortable speaking English than Korean, but it was actually a lot harder to explain a lot of factual things back to English because the PDs and everything that I read was in Korean, and there's a lot of words that were really hard to translate from Korean to English. So I think that was another thing that was hard. But other than that, I got to visit around so many places around Seoul, which was great because I think that if it wasn't for the show, it would have been really hard for me to kind of, you know, look around Korea and visit those places. So that was one show that I really liked as well. So those are all the variety shows that I did. For those of you guys who might not know about the variety shows, you guys can always look it up and see what type of variety shows they were, but those were the variety shows that I participated in while I promoted. So okay, the variety show that I hated the most was, I think we should go with what I hated the most. It was probably gonna be Dream Team, and despite me doing that like 3 times, like me being on the show 3 times, I am very thankful that they did call me out multiple times, which probably means that I did somewhat of an okay job. Especially, I feel like for Dream Team, a lot of rookies do get a chance to go on Dream Team, and depending on how you do in that episode, it kind of wavers if you can come on the next show and then the next show. So I remember like the first Dream Team that I did, it was with a bunch of like athletes, and I personally was really nervous because there were a lot of people who did Dream Team on like a regular, like they were like regular set guests on Dream Team. And something that I do want to like make a disclaimer on, or like that you guys might not know, is Dream Team is usually like when a bunch of people gather together and then we do like obstacles. So it's kind of like, what's the American word for it? Like big bounce. You know, like the one with like big bouncy balls and then like they jump. I don't know what it's called. What is it called? It took me forever to remember what the show was called, but the show was called Wipeout. I just remembered while I was editing. Well, basically it's like you do obstacles and then like whoever has like the best score, or like, you know, whoever doesn't mess up on the obstacles is the winner. And we do go over this before we go on the show. So there's like 5-6 obstacles that they run us through. So we do get to know exactly what type of strategy we need to do. And I thought that it was a little bit unfair because for me, it was my first time trying these obstacles and trying just doing this. So if you have like good senses, like athletically, I think that this show is for you. But for me, even like just going through the run through, it was very difficult. But the people who have been on the show like a couple of times, that were regulars on the show, definitely had more of an advantage because they knew what they had to do. They knew some things might have been what they originally did before on previous, you know, shows. And another thing is they were close to like the people who made the sets, like the people who kind of designed the obstacles. So they would be like, the people would be like, oh, like for this obstacle, you should kind of do this and this. So like I realized then and there that it wasn't as fair as I thought. And it's really hard to get screenplay because there are regulars on the show. And I remember as a rookie and me being the only one on the show for my group, I really wanted to try my best to promote my group. And I remember I did this dance. It was like this Jeongjuri dance that I, till this day, want to erase from the internet, but at the same time it did get like aired. So I guess it's like a win-win, but I'm gonna be putting that clip out like here.
티나는 어떤 예.
정주리가 섹시춤 출 때?
정주리 개그맨 정주리가 섹시 댄스 추는 거를 음악 주세요. 아.
We're back. That's what I did, and it was pretty embarrassing. And I remember people who saw clips of that, like the teasers on like TV, would send those videos to me and be like, oh my god, like what are you doing, like is that you? And yeah, it was really embarrassing. And till this day, like I wish I could erase that from the internet, but I did what I had to do to get the screenplay. And surprisingly enough, I failed like right at the end, which sucked because I was really close to like being on like finals and stuff. And then another thing that I want to say, the third time I recorded for Dream Team, it was with a bunch of idols. So it was like all like girl idols, like solo, idols, or like idols who were in groups, and we were competing for like the #1 spot. And what would happen each time, you would go through obstacles, and at the end you would have to go through a foam board, and then you would have to get a flag. So I remember I was so nervous that the first time I went to go get the flag, I fell and I was like behind, and I was like, oh my gosh, no, like so many of these idol groups are like the same as me, like we're all rookies, like I'm not gonna get any screen time. Like I felt so bad for my group because I was basically like coming out there as like a representative of my group. And then luckily there was 2 people fighting for 1 flag, and the flag that was in front of me was just plain open in plain sight, so I was able to pass that round. And I passed multiple rounds, and I think that I went up to like top 3. And it was really nerve-wracking because for me, I was actually just happy that I got to be like that high, because I think that was around like 7-8 people, and then I went to like the top 3. If I remember right, it was Ben, and then CLC Sunyeon, and then me. So we were all competing, and mind you not, they're so fast. I thought that I was really fast at running, but I was like, wow, just me coming up here was pure luck. And it was really difficult, but I think that it was a really fun experience. I think the thing about Dream Team, and the reason why I give it like my least favorite variety show that I was ever on, is that you have to have a really strong mental, and I think that's really hard because everybody there is like in it to win it, and like you're fighting. It's not even like you're fighting through words, like it's kind of luck too, because in a way you have to be lucky in order for you to win certain rounds, and in order for you to like get screen time. So I think that for me it was really pressuring and nerve-wracking to be in a place with a lot of rookies and people fighting, and mind you not, they're all girls. So for me, like just this energy that I'm getting, like I'm usually like an extrovert too, but I think that for me it was kind of really hard for me to like break out of my shell and then like kind of not give any F's about like what was going on. But I think that if I think about it now, I am definitely glad that I got to try and like be on that type of show. But I think that it wasn't a show that I looked forward to going on to, only because the energy was just really difficult to kind of be in. But nonetheless, yeah, that was like my least favorite show. And then talking about my most favorite show, I think that it would have to be Yaman TV. And this is because there were so many shows that I was like on, but I think the one that kind of stuck out to me the most and that I remember the most was Yaman TV. For those of you guys who know, Yaman TV was on Mnet, if I am correct, and it's basically 2 teams in this like little like cabin, like tin container, and there are no managers, no stylists. Nobody could be in that container except the MCs, the artists, the PD, the writer, and then the people who are filming. So the company people are not allowed to be in the container at all, and they say this like beforehand to like the MCs, which was Haha and Seo Jang-un. The 3 MCs do say, they tell the viewers there are no managers, so you guys could be comfortable, and it really makes you feel comfortable and really lets you kind of like spill things, which I think is the point. Because for me, I think that when there's managers there, like I said, you feel pressured to be funny, or you feel pressured that you have to do a good job. There's definitely a lot of pressure because you are being watched, but in this, it's only going to be another idol group, you and the MCs basically being filmed. And I think that it's really fun because it's usually like a competition between the other group, and I think that this is more like a healthier competition because you guys are basically going against the same goal, but it's kind of like, oh, who can beat this person's like Keinggi, or who could beat this person's special talent, or like, you know, they'll be like kind of letting us beat each other, and I thought that that was more of a fun experience. The group that we were on the show with was N-Flying, which is like doing super well right now, and they were like really down to earth.
슬픈 얘기예요? 별빛이 내린다.
아 열받아. DJ 스모기가 할 게 없네.
아주 기분이 되어났습니다.
여봐. 시간 쳤어.
I remember we ran into them for like a couple of music show programs, so we did see them like, you know, just face to face, but we definitely got like a little bit closer with them, like talking wise. So after that, if you were to go on other you know, music show programs, we would just be like, oh hey, like how you guys doing? And I think that it was a little bit more comfortable. I think that was the first time where I was a little bit more comfortable with, you know, just another idol group in general. And one fun thing that I want to say is that since there was no managers, and also like a part of me kind of wanted to like have fun too, there was like a segment where they're like, oh, like who are you guys like interested in, and then I like picked one member, and then that member was like, oh, they're like, okay, like, you know, you guys could like exchange numbers too, like there's no one. And in my head I was like, oh my god, like all these fans are gonna hate me and stuff. So I was like, okay, you know what, like I'll just take your email, because he's like, I don't have a phone number, and I really took his email. And I want to say this like in the video because a lot of people actually asked me at that time, they're like, oh my god, so did you guys ever like talk because you got his email, like did you ever email him back? I never emailed him back because for me, I only did it for the purpose of the variety show. And yeah, so for those of you guys who are wondering if I ever got the email or texted, you know, him back, Seung-yup, I think I did not, because I just didn't really want to deal with that, and yeah, that wasn't like my purpose. But I think that was really interesting too, because for me, Haha was somebody that I loved because I really liked him from Infinity Challenge, and then I also liked him from just like Running Man. So for me, when I saw Haha, I was like, I am like a really big fan, and he was really chill, and then like he was really kind, because at the time N-Flying and us, we were like really rookies, and we were like around the same time of like debuting, and it was really a time for us to kind of like both shine in the variety show. So I personally think that that was one of my favorite variety shows. Comment down below if you guys have any more questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this like little short story time. I personally just kind of want to talk about it, and I also want to take in more questions for variety shows. So you guys can ask me like, what is it really like for, you know, behind the scenes variety shows? Like, how long did some variety shows take for filming? You know, is it usually scripted a lot, or you know, are there things that happen behind the scenes? Like, who was the best MC, or like who was somebody that I remembered was really good at variety shows? Please leave it down on the comments down below, and I will try to answer them as much as possible. I feel like I did a really good job today. I feel like I might have talked really fast. I don't know, but I was kind of excited to really make this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that, yeah, it was fun. Bye.